Hello and welcome to Wealth Mastery, our Mindset Mondays. We are in full effect here, helping entrepreneurs go to the next level of their life financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and kicking it off today with this bonus session because we recently had our Wealth Mastery month. And in that month, we were able to chop away at generational wealth, get down to the root of where we begin with the foundation of getting out of our own way, getting out of our own mind, getting into our heart, and then seeing a clear pathway. We've done some work over the last 4 weeks. So if you haven't seen those videos, please do so. They're in my YouTube. And if you aren't following or subscribing to this channel, please do so. And we're going to invite you into some special events through our Mindset Mastery group, which is a private group where we have internal dialogue about challenges and then solutions. Challenges because we're human, and solutions because, listen, there's always a solution to a problem. If it's a financial problem, a fitness problem, relationship, career, it's really about you. I know. Sometimes we get the bad bag of chips. I've never said that before. That's weird. But sometimes we also get to see life differently based on the people and the company that we keep. And so I have put together the miracle team. They actually say yes to almost everything I ask, which is not normal. But I want to tell you, every time I have a request, they say, yes, no problem. Yes, no problem. And that's the type of people I know they find solutions. There's never a no. We always find solutions. So today on this channel, you'll get to experience going to the next level of generational wealth and the foundation for diversity. And what I mean by diversity, meaning no matter if you're female or male, Black, white, Hispanic, Korean, no matter who you are in the world, you have the right to wealth. No matter if you're in Europe or Africa, you have the right to wealth. And it's so hard when you don't have the tools, you know? And so today we're going to give you some of the brief tools, but then we're going to invite the VIPs who signed up inside the Mindset Mastery group and the Eventbrite to do the brain activation. So brain activations are complementary to the words that you hear, and then you embody those words as an activation in your body. I believe, and science has proven, that we are energy. We are energy in motion. When we breathe, we change our cells. When our cells change, we change. When we harmonize with the frequencies of wealth or love or whatever, ... fill in the blank, then you can start to attune into that vibration, which brings it closer to you. It's very much like the law of attraction, except there's a couple of tweaks to it because you get to activate the part of your brain that loves numbers. Some of us, I remember back in the day when I looked at numbers and I got confused. I held back my wealth because I didn't want to be wrong. I held back my wealth because I didn't want to do the work. I didn't want to get on the accounting software. I didn't want to look at my paychecks because they weren't enough. Let's face it, sometimes when we aren't making our wealth goals is because we haven't put ourselves into a vulnerable position to ask for help. With that, I'm going to open up a dialogue with my cohort who is helping with Wealth Mastery, and will be co-hosting an event coming up here on the 16th with me and a few other beautiful women in the world, successful women, entrepreneurs who are going to share with us their tips, tricks, and tools that they are using. And there's no wrong answer. So every time they bring a new exercise, there's no wrong answer. It just means you get to do the work. So I would like to have Allie be a part of our conversation today as we go into building of generational wealth and diversity and empowering women, men, anyone out there who are really seeking financial fulfillment and empowerment. Are you there, Allie?
I am. I'm not sure why I'm not able to start my video, but if you're able to change that on your side, awesome. If not, uh, there we are.
Oh, I can see your logo. Let me see here. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe log back in and let me see here. 1 second. Let me see. Ask to start video. Maybe log back in and yeah, come off and then log back in. Oh, there you are. Oh, now I can.
Awesome.
There.
Can you hear
Okay.
me now?
Yes, beautiful.
Beautiful. Sounds good. Awesome.
Yeah,
Hello,
so
everybody. It's nice to meet you.
yeah,
Oh.
please share a little bit about who you are and your experience in wealth building and how that relates to having this generational wealth, but really, really being a woman right now in wealth building, what that
Yes,
looks like.
absolutely. So my name is Ali Oleas. I actually grew up my dad is first generation Filipino American. His mom actually came over from the Philippines and had a sixth grade education, and that was it because her dad believed that women are just going to just be at the home and they don't need to go to school because all they're going to do is just be a housewife. So why do they need to go to school? And what she was really upset about. But when she came to the States, she actually went and studied and got her GED and just put herself through all these various different things that I always admired how very intensive she was and how intentional she was at knowing exactly the life that she wanted. And despite the challenges of how she grew up, she didn't ever let the challenges of how she grew up define who she was because she always knew that it was a decision as to where she wanted to go, not where it was, but where she wanted to go. Right. And so for me, that always drew a lot of inspiration from it. I grew up believing that I was meant to change the world. My whole entire thing was I wanted to open up schools and orphanages worldwide, teaching kids whatever their goals and dreams are to help them pursue it. That was always my vision and my mission when I was younger. I love going on mission trips, and I love being able to just see the kids' eyes just be able to light up and just be excited to just be seen. You know what I mean? And so when I was going into college, I realized that the normal 9 to 5 life was just not going to be for me. Um, I knew that if I wanted to be able to do these big goals and dreams, I couldn't just do a normal thing. It didn't feel right and it didn't make sense. And so um, as as I was applying to different colleges, they said you're going to go into a recession, so you need to understand the question needs to be who's going to hire you. And so my whole entire thing was okay, well, if any business wants to survive any recession, and it's not like this is the first or last recession that we're going to have, then at the end of the day, they need advertising. So I'm going to go in and be an advertising photographer because that was the most logical explanation. Because in order for any business to last, they need to advertise. And so I went to school, went to college, and actually studied commercial photography. Ended up specializing in underwater photography, and went and launched my business out in Ireland. Had a phenomenal time. Got a chance to meet a bunch of people from all over the world who actually were studying over at the university. And absolutely loved it. Got a chance to bring a lot of people together and be able to just create a lot of really phenomenal connections, a lot of whom I'm still in contact with today. And the only reason why I actually came home was because I actually got a call from my mom. And the long and the short of that is she remarried a guy who was just not the greatest at guys. And so I basically told her that's not acceptable behavior. You need to divorce him. I'm coming home. So I came home to take care of my mom. And what I came to find was I was like, okay, so how do you figure out this healthcare situation? How do you figure out how to purchase property here in the States? How do you figure out how to file taxes properly? I'm self-employed. I don't have a 401k. So like, how do you do this investing thing? How the heck do you do life here in the States? Anyone else been there before? And so I was very frustrated with the fact that I was just like, I went and spent a lot of money for this piece of paper that's now on my wall, right? But how the heck do you just do basic life 1 and 2, right? And so I was lamenting to a friend of mine, and I was like, I feel like I have all these huge goals and dreams, and I'm over here on square one. How do you traverse the gap? He was like, I need to introduce you to a friend of mine because you and him have a lot of similar mentalities when it comes to changing the world. You guys need to connect. I'm like, all right, cool, sounds great. And so I came into one of his classes and I was like, we could have taught this in elementary school. Why didn't we? And so I was so frustrated with the fact that I was like, we this this is such basic but impactful information. Everyone needs to know this. And so I asked him, I was like, you have one office right now, but what's your vision? Where do you want to go with this? And he was like, I want to be able to bring this nationwide and eventually worldwide, right? Because if you can empower people to empower themselves, then you actually can create real lasting change, right? And I was like, that's awesome. Like, the real second question is, can I own it? Right. I'm great at working with people, not necessarily for people. So he's like, yes, absolutely. Because if you can empower people to become more of an entrepreneur and think for themselves and be able to actually take control over their own lives and responsibility over themselves and their vision and their future, then you can also make generational change. Right. And when this country first got started, it was 90% entrepreneurs and 10% employees. And we've swapped that now, right? Where it's now 90% employees and 10% entrepreneurs. And the reason why is because we've had 15 years of programming, right? From the time we're 5 years old until we're 18 years old. If we've gone to public school, normal school conditions us to all believe we should be an employee. We should actually do the things that we're told to do in the right timelines and orders and blah, blah, blah. Right. So we have had 15 years of programming of this is how it's supposed to be because we're still in the industrial age of education, right? Versus this now global economy that we're in, right? And so basically, I got started, sucked because I was very, I'm not a math person at all, right? So when you were talking about math, I'm like, I struggled so hard when I was going through all of my math classes, but my whole entire thing was like, if you can understand basic, I'm great at math on a calculator. So long as I can do it on a calculator, it's fine. But literally we started with one office in Costa Mesa, California, and now we have 6 offices across the country. We're looking to open up another 6 in the next 3 months. So it's been a very busy and rapid expansion, but it's, I never really felt like because I was a woman, I had less than, or not enough resources. I feel like it's something that it's a gift to be a woman, right? Like it wasn't something that I had any control over. It was just something that I get to be, right? And, money is just a tool, right? So if you know how to use a tool, you can either use it to build or you can use it to destroy. It's entirely up to you, right? So money just accentuates the person that somebody already is, right? So if someone is a good person, they're going to do good things with money because why? They're a good person, right? And everyone was born, like you were born rich, but we've been programmed otherwise, right? And it's generational mentalities of like this is what money is, right? And because we don't teach it in schools, it therefore becomes this taboo thing with a lot of fear around it that people don't want to touch because it's like, oh my gosh, there's fear, right? But if you showcase what it actually is and that it's just a tool, and if you can understand how to use the tool, then you can actually build a beautiful life, right? Where you can actually impact not just your life, not just your family's life, but generationally speaking, lives to come, right? That's what it's all about. So, but anyhow.
Thank you for that share. And I didn't realize about your mother and your Filipino background. I didn't have that piece to the puzzle, which makes this all the more powerful conversation. So in community, we know that I actually live in Koreatown in Los Angeles, which is very tight community. If you want to have a loan, then you want to go to a community bank versus going to a bigger bank. Now, this is not financial advice. This is just my own personal experience when it came to having certain types of money come to my business programs. So I'll start with the basic foundation of what it means to have money, right? And getting back into who and where you are right now, right? Who and where you are right now. Who are you? Allie, I'm Brandi. And what do we need? So that you can ask that question to yourself. Who am I? Where am I? And what do I need? And if you don't have what you need clear, like Allie had said, like mentioned, I knew exactly what I wanted. I just didn't know exactly how to get there. Then that's the work that you get to do this week. Who, what, and where? Like, what is that piece? What do you need? So let's imagine you you want to buy a house. And you know that your net income is not going to afford the house that you want to buy. And so we have to be, like my mother would say, realistic, right? I don't really do that very well. I'm not very realistic at all. I'm like, no, it's happening. It might be 5, 10 years out from now, but it's happening. To know your numbers, we have to know your numbers. If you're making 60,000 and you want to make 160,000, then we need to double those numbers. How are we going to do that? We have to understand that doubling those numbers is going to take a certain type of mentality. It's a mindset, but you have to start with your numbers. Now let's go to the next step, and I'll have Allie speak to this. What's the next step after knowing your numbers?
So when you know your numbers, well, you reverse engineer it, right? So it's, can you hear me?
Yep.
There we go. So you reverse engineer, right? So it's, what do you want first and foremost, right? And then it's a matter of, okay, well, what does it take to get there? And so for how we run and operate, right? We literally will take someone from like the from the whatever it is that they want first and reverse engineer it and do it with them, right? And so we'll actually handhold and be able to actually walk through it. So for me, when someone was able to actually go, what's your dream life? What do you actually want out of life? Like, where do you want to live? Where do you want your kids to go to school? Do you want them to go to private school? Do you want to go to public school? Where do you want, like, literally as specific as you can have it, you want it to be as like detail oriented. And from there, the more that you know where you're going, where you want to go, then you can actually reverse engineer it from there, right? But if you don't know where you want to go, it's kind of like saying, I want to go to New York, and you just jump in the car and start driving. Hopefully you're going east if you're in California, but like there's a lot of east. So you have to know specifically where you want to go and put it into the GPS, and then you can actually navigate from there. So
yeah, perfect. And I will go back to where you're simplifying it. It's specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant goals,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And we use that SMART goal to be able to make it real. It's foundation. And so specific, measurable, and achievable relevant goals in an amount of time measurable.
Yes.
And so if somebody's out there watching right now, and I know we have some of our VIPs waiting for us to go into our activation, what advice would you give them to start today?
So if you're not clear on where you want to go, just start by going and asking yourself, what do I want? What was I put on this earth for? What was my purpose, and what is the reason why I am here? Like what gifts was I given that only I have, that I can actually get better at, explore, and be able to bring to life so much more blessings, right? That's first and foremost. And then from there, it's a matter of, okay, so what's the life that I want to live? And even if it's safe, so spending is a habit, saving is a habit, being broke is a habit, being wealthy is a habit. All of it is just habits, right? For all of us that like grew up in the States, hopefully like you're taught you brush your teeth twice a day, in the morning and at night, right? It's just a habit, right? And similar to where every single dollar that we are given, what do we first do with it? What's the mentality behind it? Do we first spend it? Do we first save it? Do we first, what is it that we first do? And it's all very conditional, right? Like we were conditioned, especially in the States, we're a very consumer-based economy. We don't think about saving it, versus in a lot of different Asian countries, like in China, it's about 40% is saved, right? And culturally, that's just normal. So it's a matter of going, okay, well, if I can't save 40%, then how much can I save out of every single piece of income that comes into my account? 10% is a really great place to start if no one has ever done it, right? So out of $1, you can save 10 cents, right? 10 cents always comes back to you. But yeah, so I would say starting with that as like bare basic.
And would you say it's saving or investing?
Yes, and you want both. But it's like, if no one has ever, so wouldn't you agree? If you go to the gym and you've never gone to the gym before, you go and pick up a 100-pound weight and you've never been to the gym, you're going to hurt yourself, right? So if you start saving like 90% of your income and you've never saved before, it's like, wait, hold on, I don't know how to do this thing, right? It's it's starting with the minor things of like first saving money, right? To then also then investing money. You want to do both at the same time, but if someone's never saved money, even saved money before, then it's just get in the habit of having money that you just don't spend, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's there as like your rainy day fund, like the when the tire goes out, it's like, hey, you know what? No problem. Like I've got it. Like being able to be self-sufficient and self-reliant is one of the most empowering feelings that you can have as a human being is when you just know I got it and it's all good. You can just go, it feels wonderful to just know I got this. It's okay. Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's first and foremost is that.
Thank you. And so we're going to chunk this down a little bit. These are short Monday mindsets to remember, okay, there's a rainbow on the edge of this about to happen for you, that you get to show up to these VIP sessions. You get to involve yourself in our community events, our master classes. You get to know about the tools. You could even get your license and have your own agency. There's so many different layers to becoming financially liberated. I'm going to share right now, before we head off, a couple of steps that have helped me, but also help my clients. It's not only being smart with your time, which is the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound results, and it's for everyone. Meditation gives you peace of mind. Meditation and heart set meditation, knowing your why. Moving into that feeling and emotion of you can be, do, and have anything. And then feeling into that and noticing your surroundings and to harness that energy, that availability, that you are valuable. At the core of most poverty and most poverty mindsets are, I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. I used to have it, but I lost it. Or somebody hurt me and they took it away. Or my parents didn't teach me, or they worked hard. There's so much mind chatter that when you slow down the mindset, mind closes and you open your heart and you let go, you'll start to see a huge shift in all that you do. Now, of course, it's not easy work. Every single day, we're right, Allie? We're helping people go to the next level and we're teaching them about money. And of course, you got to have income. You can't invest unless you have income. So there's another layer to this as well. So I'll start with saying that it's okay to be smart. It's okay to create a budget. It's okay to build an emergency fund. It's okay to invest wisely. It's okay to educate yourself. It's okay to earn more, and it's okay to protect your wealth. And that is what we get to do inside our masterclass, because this is not knowledge just out there. It isn't. You have to find your circles. Look, you can YouTube this all day long, but you have to find your inner circles and you have to step up. And that's it. That's my message. Anything you want to add to that?
I would just say, if no one gave you permission before to take control of your own life, we're giving that permission. it's you are enough, you are beautiful, you are wonderfully made, and you were made to do great things in this world. And if no one has ever told you that before, I apologize, but we're here to actually say that this is your time and this is your year to be able to go, I own my own life. And I have freedom and control because I own my own life, my own decisions, my thoughts. I get a chance to actually choose it, right? You are not your thoughts. You are the consciousness behind your thoughts. So it's you get a chance to actually choose what you want to be able to create in this world. And I give you permission to create beautiful and wonderful things.
I feel so good. We are living in an abundance economy, and this abundance economy means you can have anything. The challenge is you don't want 10,000 cats. Okay. You have to be very specific by the time, date, and also leveraging your assets, your resources, like your friends, family, and us, your educators, your mentors, your guides. So until next time, we'll make sure that the Wealth Mastery link, it's free to join our group. be sure to sign up. It's in this YouTube, and then attend our master classes that happen once a month. And of course, every Monday right here on this channel. Okay, so everybody ready to go in and do our brain activation and our breath work? Okay, excellent. Thank you, and we'll see you next Monday.